Welcome to the broadcast. If anybody's out there in the internet jungle, I am streaming live on Twitch, YouTube, and X this evening. Having some technical difficulties getting my stream key to work for TikTok, so not gonna do that this evening. Yeah. So the big beautiful bill just passed the Senate. That is huge news. Not everybody's super stoked about that. I can imagine everybody's probably a little bit angry about that, rightfully so. Um, let's see here. So I'm just gonna get some stuff here situated, and we'll see. All right. Welcome in the two people that are showing up into X feed. Was able to get the stream over onto TikTok for the moment, and we will see how it goes. So I hope everybody's having a decent evening. Hope your plans are going well. Whatever you guys are looking at doing over these next few days. A lot of stuff has gone on with corruption and whatnot. Obviously today the big beautiful bill passed the Senate floor, going on to the House of Representatives sometime soon. And the scary thing is people are losing Medicare. Or not, they're just losing health benefits. I probably said it wrong. But anyways, they're losing coverage. They're going to. And the plan is that Trump wants to kill these innocent people, these elderly people, these disabled people, and he's a fucking bully. He always will be. He's a criminal. We all know this. We all know it. He's a felon. For fuck's sake, I'm a felon. For a stupid reason, but he's a felon for like disgusting things. And you kind of wonder, like, his cult that follows him thinks that he is doing the right thing. I saw something really crazy on. I was just scrolling through I was doom scrolling. Apparently, that's what I do when I'm bored. I was doom scrolling on TikTok, and probably can't hear me in my mic. Hold on a sec. Technical difficulties. You probably can hear me through the audio. Yeah, not embarrassing at all. Okay, but obviously, we're hitting a time in our country where it's either wake up and fucking seriously fight, and how many people are actually gonna fucking do it? Like, who's gonna do it? Are you gonna march in these rallies and these protests against both parties that are obviously not working for us? They're sponsored by fucking APAC. They don't give a shit about you or me or anybody else. They care about their asses getting reelected to keep on putting these disgusting bills into place. It's scary, okay? It's fucking scary. It is not good. It is not normal. It is fucking scary. And so many people across this country who live in red states especially are on these benefits. You know, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. They say, tomorrow's a new day, but right before New Year's, or I'm sorry, right before, I don't know why I said New Year's, right before the 4th of July holiday, they plan to push this out to the public and make, they don't care. Either party don't care. They don't care about you. We are literally sifting through bullshit. All of us. Some of us are struggling to get by. Some of us are have severe issues with their health. We can't afford our premiums. Americans can't afford their premiums, regardless of what your health insurance is. Period. But you know what? Let's just let these rich elitist assholes, these capitalist pigs, these idiots take control of us and make a mockery of this country. It fucking sucks. It's not normal. None of this is normal. None of this is cool. None of this is okay. The I know I'm not going to get a lot of people viewing this, and that's okay. But what I want to talk about is there's multiple issues going across this country, across our world. Another thing that I ran across, this whole immigration issue that Trump is, making. Uh, I'm comparing ICE to the Gestapo, but they're worse. Taking migrants, okay, and they're putting them on fucking planes, okay, fucking putting them on fucking planes, and they're dropping them in the middle of the fucking Atlantic, okay. They're killing these people. They're tossing them over these like, planes that have basically no seating, crowded planes. They're piling these guys in, and they're killing them. They're throwing them out. Now, yeah, maybe some might be part of cartels, but regardless of them being part of cartels, this is disgusting. Okay, you got motherfuckers throwing people out of planes. How many feet up in the air? When they throw those human lives into the ocean, and they hit that water, every single bone in those men's body breaks. Imagine it being a family member that related to you. Maybe somebody out there is listening, and there is a family member out there who is concerned about what tomorrow will bring. Tomorrow will bring what? In my community the other day, I was going to the gas station to get gas because I needed it. And I pulled into the pump and I looked over. And this is Montana, okay? This is rural Montana where I live. And I looked over and I saw an unmarked car pull over some migrant workers who work at one of the nearby farms or ranches, and or wherever they might work in construction. I don't know, but they pulled them over, and um, every single one of them was asked to get out of the vehicle. Now I had to go back home. I didn't see everything. Part of me wishes I would have said something. I regret it, but they're everywhere. You can look on Indeed, okay, Indeed, the job site. And if you look in your community or communities across the country, you can see that they're hiring ICE, people to work for ICE, because they need more numbers, they need more people, they need people to break their quotas. uh, Time, it's beyond me, man. Like, I don't know what to think. Uh, these are the things that my grandmother warned me about. Okay, these are the things that history is repeating itself again and again. It may have started with Ukraine, then Palestine, then us, the United States. We're crumbling. Democracy is dying. If you believe it, that we're a democracy, I think we're more of a capitalist bureaucracy built on APAC money and blood. But yeah, the American people, the dream to be American. These people want to be free. They want liberty. They want a life. There's a guy that, I'm not really big on Ukraine, their government per se, and I'm not for Russia either. But I watched this guy on TikTok. Like I said earlier, I doom scroll, and I can't remember his name. He's pretty popular. Um, he he and his family have basically 2 months to possibly get out of the country. They may get approved, they may not, and they're basically seeing if they have to leave. And I think they have a young daughter and a baby. I'm not sure. I've seen in past posts, but regardless of that, they have a family. They started a life in Florida. They're happy. So, but basically, any of those Ukrainians who decided to come to the United States are told, hey, take a hike, be Putin's bitch. Seriously. And that is where I just get I get frustrated. I don't care where an immigrant is from, but again, as someone who comes from a line of immigrants, like, yes, my family came probably 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, 1900s, wherever. Obviously we're a big mix of people in my family, but my ancestors came from Ireland, Cork County, and they left Ireland for a better life. Yes, they were treated horrible in wherever they lived in the country, Midwest, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Rochester, maybe. I don't know. My grandma tells me stories all the time about growing up in Irish St. Paul or Irish Minnesota, Minneapolis. Um, but that's for another day to tell that story. But then, basically, in the like 1916 to whatever, I mean, they were still treated bad. African Americans have been treated bad for over 400 years. They were forced immigration. But now we're taking it out on people and we always have done this. This country is disgusting with its history, but like I said, they're repeating itself. They're killing brown people. Like I said, they're putting them in that Gator Alcatraz or whatever. But yeah, it's a scary time. It's a really scary time to be um, to be alive in this country. Um, Trump is a part of the problem, but you have people who are under him, like Marco Rubio, who basically talks about, well, my family had to leave Cuba because of Fidel Castro. Was your family like a rich family in Cuba who basically didn't care for the people, the original people of the island? Because obviously you left because you're a bitch. Your family, like, it's just what I think. It's what I feel about that situation. Hmm. Yeah, okay, moving on. So there is some big things happening. So the other day there was um, an ambush basically outside of Coeur d'Alene on this mountain. Um, Apparently the guy shot uh, the individual, the two firefighters. One guy basically went into um, critical condition at the hospital, probably in Coeur d'Alene, I'm assuming. He probably didn't drive to Spokane because that would have been a little bit of a drive, but um, very scary. Um, the guy I just found out earlier, he was found. They killed him. You know, so we'll never know the truth of why he did that. Um, a lot of people are, sick, mentally sick in the head, and we're faced with a lot of things right now, but those are things that I just think about constantly. Apparently, there's things that people are saying. Of course, everybody's getting attached to the conspiracy and whatnot, whatever draws them to that specific situation. But people are saying it was the reason why that man attacked those firefighters, ambushed them, was because um, apparently they burnt down. That was the anniversary of um, firefighters burning down one of the white nationalists or whatever they are in that area. Um, we have a very big problem in the Northwest. I guess I live more in the Southwest, but I live fairly close to the Northwest. It's Western Montana is fairly small in comparison to the rest of the state, which is prairie and whatnot. But anyways, we had Richard Spencer living in this town called Whitefish, and he lived there for a long time. And one of the things that I've heard from people that are from that area is that Richard Spencer went into a very expensive restaurant. Whitefish is kind of a resort town. That's majority of what they get their income from. And what they did And he came in and he sat down, ate the dinner, and basically his credit card declined. He didn't have any money on there. Man was bankrupt. He's going through a divorce or whatever. But it's interesting because the people I heard, this is what I've heard. I don't know if this is accurate, but they kicked him out of the store, or the not the store, the restaurant, and basically 86'd him. Can't ever come back. And the town hates him. You know, the town absolutely hates that man and what he stood for. And I think eventually he moved out of that area, went back east or wherever he was from. But there's places even in Montana that are scary. You know, growing up in western Montana, we had a lot of crazy things going on in the state in the 90s. It starts with Ruby Ridge, which is in Idaho, by the way, kind of by that area. And then you have the Montana militia. And then you had a guy named Calvin Greenup and all these crazy people. And I remember, like, going to the town that I grew up in. It was basically, God, my brain is tired. It was this guy, Calvin Greenup. He was part of the militia group. He was held up. He held up this hotel room, and he was in there, and he was threatening to do all these crazy things. And there were federal agents outside this hotel. There was, big news, uh, companies out there like NBC and CBS and CNN and Fox News probably and whatnot. And they were just like filming it for days and days and days. And it was insane. And he didn't get like any prison time or anything like that, because they found out that he didn't have any weapons or anything on him. He was just making threats. I'm sure he got in trouble for that, but he didn't get any prison time. But yeah, there were some crazy times. And then you had the Montana militia up in like south central Montana, bunkered down in the middle of nowhere. Crazy, yeah. So, it's there's a lot of fanatical people even back then, um, but people like to forget about those people. Like they want to forget about you know um, what the '90s were like. So it's kind of interesting. Like Timothy McVeigh. I mean, you know how many people are like Timothy McVeigh that are a part of this whole Trump shit? Like there are so many. There's so many lunatics that are part of the Donald Trump, like, way of thinking. And they're like Timothy McVeigh. They're like the Unabomber, which he became famous because he had a Montana cabin. And no, I never saw him because I don't live in that community. But yeah, that's another story. But good shit. There's a lot out there, um, that I think we need to focus on. We need to focus on probably building smaller communities as as this shit goes on. Um, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anybody does. I think there's going to be some pretty angry people in the next coming days, especially people who are disabled. I think there's going to be a lot of, yeah, there's definitely going to be some voices that are going to be heard loud and clear. And apparently, calling your House representative didn't do shit, which isn't a surprise to me. They say, "Oh, call your your representative," and tell them that you don't want these healthcare benefits to go away. Well, when you have right-wing fanatical, you know, majority, which is the entire Democrats and Republicans, because they're not liberals aren't really liberal. They're not leftist. They're going to vote against the interests of the American people. And you know what? What really is disgusting about these politicians is they get basically free healthcare. They may have to pay a small amount towards a premium. They get that for life. They get a salary for life. And they get and some of them are like millionaires. You know, like how wealthy is Nancy Pelosi? Like she's ridiculously wealthy. I don't know how many times I have to see that ad of like where it comes up with like Nancy Pelosi has stocks in or all these assets and this and you can buy those same exact stocks for this amount of money. It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. I don't know. I just get really annoyed with it all. But yeah, Fourth of July is around the corner. People are going to be showing their American flag. There is going to be another rally, I hear, for no kings type thing, possibly in the country on the 4th. I haven't seen a lot of traction on it though. There's going to be another one across the country on the 17th. I think it's good to go to those things. I think that regardless of whatever, I think people are starting to realize humanity is starting to catch up with everybody. That government doesn't work for us. We need to change. Now, what are we going to do? The biggest question is, could this country go towards a communist type government that actually works for everybody, that actually protects jobs, actually has places where the homeless can go? I don't know. I'd like to see that happen. I would. Thank you for joining me on TikTok, as well as the other platforms that I currently am on. It is 1:10 Mountain Time. I'm going to go for a couple more minutes. Trying to get better at doing these. Yeah, let's just try to make it more effort to make it more newsworthy and whatnot, and maybe get more people to join in on my live, I guess my lives. Um, hmm, yeah. So I hope the weather is good where you're at. Today we hit a all-time high. Well, not an all-time high, but it was the high for the summer. So we're hitting 94 today was high, and it was brutal outside for us who live up in a higher elevation of Montana. I know some parts of the country get they're a lot hotter than we are here, but when you go from night, winter to where it's like 28 degrees for months basically to 94 degrees, it's Yeah, it's pretty shitty. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm trying to get this stream out. I was trying to use a couple different uh, programs between my MacBook and my Chromebook, and I was just having some difficulties with Streamlab this evening, and I don't subscribe to that particular service. Probably be better with a subscription, but I really don't want to pay the $27 a month for it. So that's something that I do not want to do, which I won't do because I found that to be a little bit of a ripoff. I was using another one, and it was like I paid for the service on it, and every time I would put the stream key in, it would just cancel out on me. Right now, I'm using EVMux, which is actually a pretty decent service, even on the subscription rate. I think I'm paying I got like a deal on it for $30 for a certain amount of time. It's not when I saw it like on an ad, I'm like, oh my god, this is freaking good. So the only thing that sucks is the delay. There's a little bit of a delay on it, um, and stream keys such as TikTok, they don't really work very well. They close down. I am not on Rumble. I refuse to be on Rumble. Um, I almost joined the other day, and I didn't really know that what Rumble was. I mean, I knew it was like a streamer place where people talk about multiple things, but I didn't realize that it was a destination for alt right, and I kind of felt stupid after that. Yeah, right. Well, in the sports world, they decided to the Milwaukee Bucks decided to waive Damian Lillard. I guess he's recovering from injury the last couple years, and he is no longer a Milwaukee Buck. I'm kind of curious where he goes. I would like to see him go to my beloved Lakers, but that probably won't happen. And yeah, that's in basketball news and baseball news. Cal Raleigh leads the MLB with 33 home runs. Legend. This guy's going to be a legend. Like, for a catcher to hit 33 home runs is absolutely crazy. I don't even remember. Maybe Mike Piazza was like the last one that in my lifetime that hit maybe 30 home runs all season long. But we're almost at the midway point. All-Star game's coming around the corner. Um, Hopefully it's going to be good. I'm assuming Cal Raleigh is going to go up against Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge in that particular event, but we'll see what happens. But hopefully that does happen. But yeah, apparently games are getting sold out because Cal Raleigh, when he's able to play, when he's playing, and he's not on a rest day. But yeah, pretty sweet. I hope he does hit 60 plus home runs. I think that would be cool. Um, he I kind of knew he was special last season when he played um, for the Mariners when I kind of really started to watch him. I've been a Mariner fan all my life, as well as a Chicago Cubs fan. You'll catch me wearing an Oakland A's hat sometimes too, but just because I have a soft heart for the underdog teams. Mariners pretty much have been an underdog team for a long time. But yeah, good shit. Good shit. Yeah, it's kind of late. It's 1:17. this year has kind of flown by. Flown by. I got a southern accent. My name is Jimmy. Alright, well, I'm going to go to bed and I will do another one, hopefully earlier tomorrow. And remember to have a good evening and spay and neuter your cats and dogs so that they do not make a weird combination like a Dalmatian and a Rottweiler. Alright, talk soon.